Okay, I was going to North High School and I was going through a really rough time at home. Like, I don't know, just a lot of personal stuff that was crashing down on me, and I'd had suicidal thoughts before and self-destructive tendencies like cutting and well, other things. So one day I was feeling really overwhelmed, so I tried to commit suicide and I cut myself really badly. So the next morning when I realized, hey, I don't really want to die and I want to get over this, I went to the counselor at school, and she took me to the social worker and she put me in touch with Shar because dying's not a really good thing to do. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to move past that and move forward with my life, and that's how I got started with Horizons. I didn't really have any expectations from Horizons. I was just hoping that it could distract me from being all depressed and sad and by myself all the time. So, I mean, if it could offer something to do after school, well, that was great because I knew it would. But, if it helped me move past the bad habits that I had, well, that would be even better. Yes. I heard about ideas when it was Etude and I was going to school at Horace Mann. And I really wanted to go to Etude, but my mom wouldn't let me. She was like, oh, it's an art school and that's a waste of time. And I tried to go to the counselor with it, but she was kind of really mean about it. She was like, oh, you're not gonna do well at that school. I think you do way better at a traditional high school. And I was really pissed off. Like, what is that? A counselor's supposed to help you. But, I waited and I bided my time. And when I saw how credit deficient I was at North, I went to my mom and I was like, hey, you know how I really wanted to go to Etude? Well, I'm past that. I want to go to Ideas now. And she was like, well, what's that? And I was like, oh, it's a charter school and it can help me with my credits. So, she wanted me to graduate, so she was like, fine, I guess. But you have to succeed there, okay? I was like, well, of course. So I ended up going to Ideas with a bit of bending the truth and omitting details. And Shar was able to get me in contact with a contact of hers. I don't remember what her name was. I feel kind of bad. But, she worked there and she was able to fit me in, even though the application deadline had already passed, and that's how I ended up there. At North, it's a really big school and there are so many people, and it's really easy to feel lost, kind of like cattle. Yeah, I felt like I was part of a herd of cattle at North. And since it is a bigger school, the teachers don't really have as much time for you. So if you need help with something, if you don't understand, if you need to talk about anything, you can't really get that attention from the teachers. And it was so boring. Like, they expected you to listen in class and then just regurgitate everything on a piece of paper. There was nothing exciting or fun or challenging about it. So most of the time I just kind of space out and like read fan fiction or draw in class. So, that was pretty counterproductive to my graduation. So at Ideas, it's a smaller school, it's a charter school. They put you into advisories according to grade. So, what the freshmen and the sophomores are doing, is different from what the juniors and the seniors are doing. The older kids are doing more college prep stuff, and I don't know what the younger kids are doing. I wasn't there then. But we each have our advisors, and they're like our counselors, our study hall teachers, and if we have a problem, we can go to them. If we need help with school, we could go to them. And it's more hands-on there. Like, they don't just tell you what to read and then expect you to spit it out on paper. They will make you do your own research. They'll tell you, okay, well, this is what the unit we're on. You can choose whatever topic you want, research it. These are the points that you must have. Now go forth and learn, my children. And they're not holding your hand and they're not hovering. And it's up to you to do the things that you're supposed to do. So you get more out of it, assuming that you actually do things. And then there's the projects, which are pretty intimidating. We had semester projects and we could research whatever we wanted, on any topic that we wanted. For example, like my first semester at Ideas, I did this thing on stereotypes, and well, they told us how to write a bridge paper, they told us how to do an artist statement, proposal, all of that stuff, and you know, we did our own research, we formatted it, we wrote it all, we did it all. And then at the end of the semester, we would present it at the Arts Center. And that was pretty nerve-wracking, especially if you don't, you know, if you've never spoken in front of anyone before. It's really terrifying your first time, but you know, they prepare you for that. They help you with like public speaking and just being more, well, less terrified, I guess, more sociable, more outgoing. And they're not hovering the whole time. So I have a really bad work ethic, like really insanely bad. And I mean, after school, Shar and the other mentors would make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And you know, every week I'd get emails from Shar telling me what I had to get done. You know, it's like, the way I thought of it was like, out of sight, out of mind. If I can't see what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm not worrying about it. I mean, it's in the back of my mind, but I'm not freaking out about it. But she would make sure that I'm constantly thinking about it, which would in turn force me to think, hey, I should probably do this. So, you know, there was that. There were the constant reminders and the resources that Horizons offered, like the mentors and Shar herself, because she's a mentor. But, you know, if I was struggling with a subject, like there was this woman, Carol, she used to be a math teacher, so she could help me with my math. And, you know, if I had to stay after school to work on things, I could, you know, work with Molly or work with Peter, with whoever I needed, with whatever teacher. And Char would pick me up from school and she'd take me back to Cleveland. You know, if I needed supplies during class and, you know, I couldn't get them before or by the time I needed them, she could come in during lunch and she would help me, like she'd give me the things that I needed. So I always had somebody to help me, somebody to remind me what I needed to do, somebody to get me the supplies that I needed for the projects that I was doing. You know, it really helps when you have like this project and you're not used to doing things like that and you think, well, I don't even have the supplies, I'm just gonna give up. But there's always somebody to make sure that you have some, like the things that you need. That takes the edge off of it. Yeah. Even though my projects weren't exactly the best, like my semester projects, you know, there are things that I did that I was able to do that even though I didn't think, oh, well, I'm not gonna finish this. I mean, I did think that. You know, I finished them and I did them. I'm proud of them. I mean, they're not the best, but, you know. And there are some projects that I did that I'm really happy about. Like there was this game that I made for math. It was like a probability game and I am obsessed with fans. So what I did was, you know, I put them all on like their faces, really weird faces on a bunch of cards. And, you know, that was my game. So it was like simple things like that that probably seem really stupid, but they amused me and I liked them, so I'm proud of that. I'm really glad and really proud that I was able to graduate because, I mean, culturally, since I'm Mexican, I was always groomed and brought up to believe that I'm going to be a housewife, so there's really no point in having an education. So I'd always end up giving up and thinking, well, it doesn't matter, I'm going to get married anyway, and I'm going to have to, you know, be a homemaker, so I don't care. But, you know, with Horizons, they kind of helped me look past the cultural barriers, and I was able to think, you know, I want more for myself. So being able to break that in itself was really great. I'm proud of that. And graduating. I'm the first person in my family to graduate. So, you know, that's really, really great. And, you know, the first person in my family to go off to, not college exactly, but, you know, I will be going to college after AmeriCorps. AmeriCorps itself is a pretty great accomplishment, I think. It will be. Yeah. Well, I have advice for the kids, the students. Like I said before, I was really scared about joining this because I thought that the girls would be really stuck up or just me, because, you know, when somebody has a difficult life, it kind of tends to turn them kind of hard and cold to an extent. And, you know, I just want people to know that Horizons isn't like that. Like, the people are really, they're really kind, they're really accepting, and Shar is great. I mean, you know, a lot of people don't trust adults because they're old. What do they know? No offense. But, you know, it's not like that. They were young once and they know exactly what, well, maybe not exactly what you're going through, but they have an idea of it and they can help you. You just have to have an open mind. And to the parents, you know, they're not random adults trying to corrupt your children. They're trying to help them. And I mean, I know it's really hard to trust your children to somebody else if you know that they're going through a rough time, and it's really hard to admit and realize that maybe the things that you're doing aren't exactly the best for them. And maybe somebody else can offer that. You know, you just have to look past your pride and your ego and let somebody else take over for a little bit after school, a few hours, certain days of the week. So that's it. Just have an open mind and, you know, be accepting of the people around you. Oh, and be patient, because it gets really frustrating when it's a bunch of girls in one enclosed space. And as kind as they are, it gets hormonal. So be patient. Yeah, that's it. Look at me. I'm not a really mushy person, typically. I like to think that I'm not. But I really want to thank Shar for, you know, for all the things that she's done, for not being a mean, grouchy old lady that I thought she would be the first time I saw her. You know, she's like a grandmother to me. Not that you're old, as much as Abby would say that. You know, and even though I could be the most infuriating, frustrating thing to deal with, you know, I was canceling last minute, like, oh, I'm not gonna go to group today, I have this other thing to do. You know, she didn't, well, yeah, she probably got really frustrated with me, but I don't think she ever yelled at me, because Shar doesn't yell at people. She is a kind, angelic soul. She really is. You know, and I think that if it weren't for her, I wouldn't have graduated high school. And I'm really grateful for all of the help that she gave me, for being able to, you know, sometimes scare me into doing the things that I needed to do, for the constant nagging and, you know, the reminders that she always set, the way that she was always there to listen if I had a problem, the conversations. So, thank you, Shar. Hollywood.